welcome to me, Mom. It's Becky. We are going to talk about tomatoes today. Now, I have included a picture just here after this. And that shows you the different kinds of tomatoes that we're doing, because tomatoes are very interesting. They come in a variety of forms, as most people know. You can get the tomato, and this is great for cutting up and putting on sandwiches and making slices, and you can cut up parts of this and put it on salads. Also, it comes in smaller versions, with some of them with like lots of colors. There's yellow and orange and like a dark, almost a deep purple, and they're all different kinds of tomatoes, and they each have a slightly different flavor, so they're really, really good. So there's that. Around here where I live in the US, we have tomatoes in a lot of different forms, and then you can use them in different ways as well. Salsa is interesting. You can, of course, put it with chips, make it for a snack. You can also use it in dishes, like you put it underneath cheese, put it with like some chicken, and make a casserole out of it. You can add it to spaghetti to make spaghetti a little more flavorful. So you've got that. So those are just a couple ideas for salsa besides just dipping chips in it, which is also good. Oh yeah, here's fun. If you take this and you take some cream cheese, you take a block of cream cheese and a can of sauce, and you put it in your crock pot and cook up a pound of meat. You mix all that up, and then you've got a very special kind of dip, and it's so good. And it's just one 16-ounce package of cream cheese, 1 jar of salsa, and a pound of ground beef. So try that sometime, because that makes a yummy dip. So that's salsa ideas. The other things that we have that we know you do with tomatoes, when they can them, they come in a variety of forms. So here we just have some regular crushed tomatoes. Here we have some pizza sauce. So they added spices and stuff to this. So this is good for pizza, but you can also add it in things. Again, this would also taste good if you mixed it with spaghetti sauce. Then you put that in with like your different pasta dishes. That would give it a really good flavor. Sometimes I like to add a little barbecue sauce in there too. The other one that really helps is tomato paste, which is basically the same as tomato sauce, but they condense it. They take some of that moisture out so that it's very, very thick. And then when you use this, it can thicken up your meals so that you don't have this whole big runny thing, especially if you're making a pasta or a casserole, which is very good for things with tomatoes. Then this can help to thicken it, and you will want to cook the sauce and add this to it first before you put the other ingredients on it. So let's just talk about, like, we'll start with casseroles. Casseroles are easy. They're simply layering things. So maybe for a casserole, maybe you would take some of your crushed tomatoes and cook them up and add some seasonings, Italian seasonings with garlic and some onion powder maybe, or spicy seasonings again with garlic and onion powder, but you would put some chili powder in there and some cumin and things like that, little red pepper to just give it a pop. Some people like to add just a little bit of sugar to offset the salty flavor of tomatoes, and that sweetens them up in a bit, makes them taste good. So you can do that with them. So you take your, whatever it is, you get a layer of a variety of different kinds of vegetables that you like, that you just cut up in big chunks, and you lay that in, and you pour your sauce that you've made with your spices and your stuff, and you put some meat on top of that, or maybe you put the meat and then pour the sauce on. So you're kind of making, like, it's the same concept as pizza, but you're making a casserole with it, or you're using all vegetables, or you're using rice, or you're using pasta or something like that. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese on that, or pour a little bit of, like, make a sauce, or get some cream of some kind of cream of soup and put that on. and maybe some cheese, and you just bake that in your oven. Bake it in your oven for 45 minutes, about 350, and you have a wonderful, wonderful dinner with a lot, good vegetables. You've got some good healthy carbs there if you're using brown rice and if you're using whole grain pasta, and so you've got all that you can do. So those are just some ideas for that. You can also take this and you can actually make spaghetti sauce out of it. You simply put it in your pan, put the seasonings that you like in it, and you cook it for a long time. Cook it on low to medium low for a good hour or so, and then you end up making your own spaghetti sauce. The seasonings are the key to having it go from just being straight up tomatoes. And the beauty is, see that 20 calories? Spaghetti sauce in a jar is usually about 150. This is so much better. And then you get all that healthy stuff in there. But you mix the ricotta cheese with a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of like cream, half and half or something like that. A couple tablespoons along with your mozzarella cheese, and you save out some mozzarella cheese for the end. Mix that up, and then you make up your sauce and put some meat in there, or cut up spinach. You chop up spinach in little teeny pieces, and then you sprinkle that in there, and then you can have a vegetarian type, and then you put a little bit of sauce. Then you put your noodles on top of that. Or if you like to use zucchini noodles, you put your zucchini noodles on top of that. And then you put your cheese on top of that. Then you put more of your sauce on top of that. And then another layer of your noodles, whatever kind. And then more sauce. And then more cheese. And maybe another layer if you've got room. And then more sauce. And then this time, instead of putting, so you used half in the first bit, half in the next bit, so you used up the whole mixture with the ricotta cheese. You take your bunch of mozzarella cheese and sprinkle that on top, a little bit of Parmesan. And then you pop that in the oven. This is the long bake, because you need a nice thick pan, a nice big 13 by 9, nice thick pan, because it's gonna fill up to the top. You put it in the oven at 350, cook it for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and all those flavors will meld together and make it yummy. Now the other thing that I like to use this kind of sauces for, that also your pre-seasoned sauce would go good for it too, is chili. I add extra garlic. I add just a little bit of cocoa powder, just a couple of tablespoons. You add a little something sweet, either a little maple syrup or a little bit of honey or a little bit of barbecue sauce, and you just mix that up. Hey, we did that when we did meat. Remember how I showed you how I made the chili? That's how I make my chili. But again, it's because you're using tomatoes. So those are some tomato ideas for you. Just wanted to show you the different ways you could use tomatoes and the different kinds of tomatoes that are available out there. So hopefully that will help you to prepare some fun dinners along with the meat that we cooked a few weeks ago. All right, thanks for joining me. Hey, if this is helpful, then subscribe, because then you can get these different ideas and stuff, and you can see what else I've got and all of that kind of thing. Also, if this was a helpful video for you, hey, click that like button. That's a big help to me. I would love to hear if this was helpful for you. Then comment down there. Comment what kinds of things you like to make. Maybe there's an idea that I hadn't mentioned that you do with yours that I would love to hear. If you have anything in particular, if you say, I got a bunch of pecans or whatever, and I don't know what to do with them, well, then great. Put those ideas in the comments, and I will make a video for them, because I just love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me.